Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 13 of the best of 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And today's sketch is a page maps, and it has 3 pictures, and this is the little kit I put together. Yesterday I started with kits that I've built because I am moving, so I had to try and pack as much as I could. So I have these 3 pictures of my son and my nephew on the beach. I did not slow this down very good. And then I have these 2 papers, 12 by 12s from a paper pad called Sunny Days by Maggie Holmes. And I also have the scraps from that same paper pad. And I'm hoping to get some of those used up. And here is the paper pad. And I just got this not that long ago and I'm really used quite a bit of it. Yay! So where there's this circle, I'm going to use this doily. I think it's a Wilton doily. And then there's, gosh, I'm moving fast. And then I have my Tim Holtz word phrases. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to ink that up with this peacock feathers. And then I have a couple of different stickers that I thought I might use of little kids in the water splashes, bathing suits. And then I have this thicker Scenic route for a title. I haven't decided at this point what I was going to title it, but I do use that as my title. So I have my papers, my embellishments, my ink, these pictures, and this sketch. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was ink this doily, and you can see that I have inked this doily, a doily or 2 on this layout. And I believe it was yesterday's day 12 of the best of 30 days of sketches. And I inked it with the chip sapphire. And if this wasn't so thick, I would totally use this as a background. I plan on doing this in the future because I love how really cool that looks to me. All of those doilies. So look at that. And then I was getting some of the ink off of my off my brush. So anyway, so I got that inked up and now I'm using some papers. So this teal color or aqua color with the like odd circles, that's going to be my background paper. And then I'm pulling some scraps out of here. And then of course I cut a piece of that seashell paper because that's what they're doing, is looking for shells in these little tide pools. And so I'm just cutting things down, and I'm starting at 3 inches because my pictures are 3 by 4. In the sketch it has, I think 3 by 2.5 or something like that, or 2 by 3. So mine are a little bit bigger, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to cut them down too much because I really don't want to cut out the scenery. So I trim them down to not 2 3/4, but a smidge smaller than that, because I want them to fit on this 8.5 by 11. I want that to be the background mat. So I want it to fit into there. So I trim the papers and the pictures to just shy of 2 3/4 so that they're going to give me enough space for the middle as well as to have a little on the sides. So now that I have trimmed all those down, I'm distressed all of the sides with my Tim Holtz distresser, which I had to dig out of a packed little container because we're moving. And I don't know why. Well, it really wasn't in a box. It was kind of in a container to be packed. I put this down wrong, and I'm glad I noticed it because I was mad because somehow I thought I was really smart and got the birds to where they were actually look like they're flying. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. So luckily I had put it down wrong. So, whew. So not that I would have cared too much if the birds were flying upwards and stuff, but I'm glad that I actually paid enough attention to actually cut them correctly. So I get them all down in order, and then I just trim things to where they're going to work for me. And I distress everything except the pictures, of course. And I do not mat them, the pictures, because they are going to pretty much be matted on this blue cardstock that I have. So get those down. And that little paper with like the umbrellas on it, it's got a little divot from where I punched a circle out of that paper. but I'm going to cover that up with an embellishment, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I really wanted to use that paper because it's really pretty. And it has that circle in it, and there's a circle on that seashell paper, and then of course a circle that is going to be over there with the doily. So I felt like that kind of gave me a triangle effect of that shape. And then I love the way this doily looks. I am going to cover some of the picture in the sketch. I think it's about where it is in the sketch. Maybe it's a little bit higher, but my things are all a little bit out of proportion. So I have this little thing of sunscreen. I matte that because it's not a fully clear sticker, but you could see the difference from the picture to the blue line to the other paper. So I wanted to make sure that I got that matted on some paper, and I had enough of that blue paper to go ahead and mat it on there. And then I get this little pair of swim trunks, and I mat those on some white, just copy paper. And I'm going to trim that out just so it is not the same thing. It's not completely see-through, but it's see-through enough to where you can see the difference between the paper and behind it. So, and that covers that little divot that was at the top of that umbrella paper. So now I am trying to, I don't know, what am I doing? Cleaning up my workspace. Lovely. And now I'm going to pull out my title. Oh my gosh, you all. So I did go with the Scenic route thickers. And I loved this one. It says explore more because the color was perfect and the phrase was perfect. It's a little longer. I really kind of wanted to stick in the middle, but I felt like it would be fine. And so I just put that across, and I do put some Nuvo Deluxe on the back of it just because it's going on mixed media. It's going to be kind of bumpy because there's a couple different layers behind there. Plus I've roughed up part of that paper. So I get that down, and then I'm going to put some fun foam on the back, but only like a half circle. So it's behind, off where it's not on top of that layer of paper and pictures. So I put that down over there, and then I'm going to put a couple of the little circular embellishments that are on the Scenic route. There's like a peachy color, that same purpley blue that I use in the title, and like a little aqua one. So they all go pretty well with the papers. And so then I'm going to bring in, I think an iridescent or something, a couple of not gemstones, enameled dots that I'm going to use. And then I also bring in some like aqua colored from the Paper Studio. So, and I glue the ones from the thicker set down. The other ones I didn't glue because I've not really had any issues with them coming off, but these thickers were not very sticky. So I went ahead and put Nuvo Deluxe behind those. And then I'm going to try and figure out if I need to do anything else, and I realize that there is this stitching situation. Oh, no, I'm going to cut out some of these shells as my little cluster underneath the title. And there's like a floral or something in under theirs. And so I like the concept of the floral being the same floral that's in that paper in the middle. So that's why I chose to put the seashell paper in the middle, and then cut some of the seashells out of the other piece of that paper, so that I had like a little cluster. I've got like a pink sand dollar and a little peach conch shell, and then like a little teal colored shell. Now see, you thought, ooh, she knows her shells. I don't know what the other one is. So I get all of those on there, and that's when I start adding more embellishments and little enamel dots. And I just make a cluster of 3 by the shells, up on the shell paper, and then up on the little birdie paper. And I feel like that's enough, and there's a contrast enough with the colors because it's either a peach or a pink, and then that white iridescent I use in all 3 clusters. And it kind of takes on whatever color it's near usually. It tends to lean towards a pinky shade, but it also will kind of pull from whatever is kind of around it. So I pulled up my Tim Holtz Smalltalk, which is like my favorite. I've been through almost an entire book of them in, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. I can't remember when I bought my first one. I had to buy a second one. I'd used all the white from one and almost all the black from one. And all of these came from the new one. So they just say, make today count. There is beauty in simplicity. Do your best. Today is full of possibilities. Best day ever. Always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. Be amazed and live in the moment. And the kids were looking around in these tide pools for shells and just kind of playing in the water and stuff. And so we had an adventurous day out. This is the day. I've already done one layout where the kids went out to one of the little islands, and then the tide came in. This is after that. I think it all started with my son sitting here brooding because he had gotten in trouble. Anyway, so it turned into them looking for shells, and my nephew is holding them up. So I get my T-ruler out and just a black zig pen, and I just make little faux stitching because there is no way I was stitching. Plus my little sewing kit has been packed. So, I couldn't, and that's my excuse. So I do it pretty much like them, except there's like 2 lines of sewing, and I only did 1 line. I mean, it's all the way around, but I only did 1 instead of I think there's 2, on the sides and the bottom on each part. And I just did the 1. I felt like that was enough. And then I think, there's a cute little like border down at the bottom, just a little short one that goes from the bottom right paper that's cut out over. And I put a little water splash down there, but I also added a little piece of the paper from that bird paper. And I thought that brought that same teal color in, and it has a hint of that gold, and I just like the way that it looked. So here is the sketch again. Like I said, this is from Page Maps. And then I'm going to show you my close-ups. I hope that you all will go below and click on the hashtag best of 30 days of sketches, because that is going to take you on YouTube or Instagram to all the different people who are playing along and using that hashtag. See, there's just 1 and not a double sewing space. Other than that, I forgot to say, I did ink the outside of that peacock feathers on the doily with some chipped sapphire because it was kind of blending into the paper. So I inked the outside of it, and my fingers were like totally covered in blue. So anyway, I hope you all come back tomorrow for day 14, and I also hope you have an amazing day. See you real soon. Happy scrapping.